just to serve as proof, this is going to be showing that the 9-in-1 happened with this deck, and hopefully you'll be able to achieve the same thing. What's up, Spartans? This is JAG, aka Leonidas, coming at you live from 300. On today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to win the Mega Deck Challenge. The Mega Deck brings 18 cards to a deck. That's 10 more cards than a standard deck, bringing more cards for more fun. A couple things before we start. One, this deck may or may not work for you. I tried a lot of decks before finding this one. Upon using this one, and first time using it, I went 9-in-1. That does not mean it will work for you on your first try, so give it a few tries. If it doesn't, it does take only 10 gems to continue, so it's not like it's a huge issue. Plus, it's a pretty fun challenge, very different than what we normally see. And then two, I have 4 videos to show today. The first replay shows the majority of the win conditions and how to use them. The other 3 replays show how to face common decks found in the challenge. If you have any questions on how to use or face the different cards, pop them in the comments below. I will be responding and see if I can help you out. So let's begin. I'm going to be showing you the deck here, and let's see. Don't worry about trying to get them off this video. I'm going to be popping them in the comments and pinning them down below so you'll know what exact is the composition of the deck. Alright, so a couple things here. This deck is very powerful late game due to the spells, which you're going to see I have a fair amount of them there. And the troops as well that can apply direct damage. You're not going to have to worry about trying to get around any defenses or trying to make a push and then hoping that they don't have the right counters. You're going to be able to apply direct damage immediately with this deck. Tip for this deck, you're going to want to be offensive. Play smart and a bit defensive, but this deck really can be used for a constant attack. Take advantage that they're most likely not going to have the perfect card to stop your attack. I also created this deck to have multiple bait cards. That way you can take advantage of their mistake. For example, when they use the log for the princess, that then frees up the goblin barrel. If they use the fireball on, say, the barbarians, now you have the flying machine, which is going to be very hard to take down as well. So this deck also has multiple aerial attacking and long range troops, so that you never get caught not being able to stop an aerial push. It also allows you to kind of defend, build up a counter attack as well, especially if they drop something like Royal Recruits, and then you can kind of counter push at that point, and you're going to get at least instant damage, if not more than what they did. So then finally, lots of direct damage cards are in this deck. You're going to see with, like, say, Earthquake, Poison, the Miner. You're going to see the Princess, the Mortar, Goblin Barrel. Just like a lot of opportunities for you to get far-ranged attack pretty quickly. The Mortar is actually going to be great for this deck. It's one of the huge pushes that I've used and actually got me a lot of wins. And so let's actually go into a bit of the replays here, and you'll see kind of what I mean. So the first one's going to be kind of showing the multiple win conditions and kind of how to use them as well. So we're going to go from that. Let's bring that up right here. All right. So yeah, we'll let this one run through. I'm probably going to speed through some of the other ones, mainly because this one's going to show good example of how to kind of use the deck in general. So here you're going to see the giant skeleton dropped on the other side. I'm going to combat that with the P.E.K.K.A. You're going to see tries to drop the princess, kind of drops it in advance. I'm going to have to unfortunately deploy the rascals. We're going to come out on about even terms here with about 9 elixir each. The miner's going to come in on the back end just to kind of make it so the baby dragon they can ideally get damage. I'm going to drop the lumberjack in this case, and then I'm also going to drop the mortar. As you're going to see, the mortar's great, especially if you can get some cards that are coming in behind it to kind of act as a defense. It's going to get a lot of damage, as you're going to see right here. Especially, I'm going to drop the flying machine. This is going to take down that bar barrel, and then I'm going to use the bar barrel again just to kind of apply some more defensive pressure for the mortar so it can just keep getting damage here. So in this case, I'm going to use the logs. I know it'll take down the kind of rascal girls in behind. I'm going to use the princess here, which is I generally try not to use the princess unless I see kind of like a swarm troop or something like that. I try and hold her, maybe use some alternative cards, so keep that in mind. In this case, you're going to see me drop the musketeer, try and help protect that princess, take down the E-Dragon. It's kind of slow, and here you're going to get some more damage with the princess as well. So right now we saw the mortar, we saw the princess. I believe I used the goblin barrel as well for some damage. You see the Earthquake applied here, great for defenses. Save the Earthquake for if you're trying to stop defense and do damage to the tower at the same time, especially if there's a troop in there, you can get a little bit extra damage. That's pretty handy. Just going to use a cannon here, blocks the wizard there. Going to save 1 elixir as a result. Going to go up in advantage. Barbarians, you can either use them defensively to stop a P.E.K.K.A. or the Mega Knight, which we're going to see actually later on, along with some of the other cards in the deck. Or if you're kind of up on the elixir like we were here, split the barbs, drop them at the back. It'll split 3 on one side, 2 on the other side. If they use a fireball, it's a wasted fireball, and it works to your advantage anyways. In case of the graveyard here, I didn't have, unfortunately, any of the great cards to stop them, so I had to drop pretty heavy with the P.E.K.K.A. and the Rascals as well, but it's going to do the job. You're going to see me drop the Poison on the other side there. Going to get the Princess and going to get the Tombstone at the same time. Again, Poison's going to do a decent amount of damage. So I screwed up here with the Mortar. I wanted to drop it a little earlier. What you're going to try and do is drop that Mortar so it's going to pull a hog for it. You're going to get maybe 1 shot, 2 shots, depending on what you do for defensive troops behind it. But either way, even if you just drop the Mortar and then maybe something very cheap, you're going to get 1 or 2 shots damage and block the hog. So the Mortar's a great one to stop the hog if you can. In this case, this is going to be the end of the game, so we're just going to speed through that. Unfortunately, my laptop's lagging out on me because it's a piece of crap. Alright, so let's move on to the next replay. I'm going to probably speed through the next one more so because I just want to show how to face the Royal Recruits because they're not very common, but they are common, and it will at least give you kind of an idea of how to stop them because you're going to have to kind of defend on both sides. So, oh, no, sorry. We're going to go with the late game strength on this one, actually, which is going to kind of show you really how this deck is extremely powerful. You can take out about 1,200 damage very quickly at the end of the game just by having a fairly quick cycle. This deck runs at an average elixir of 3.5, and you can really do a lot of damage very quickly, especially if you're kind of behind. So I wanted to show that with this replay, so we're going to actually speed up a little bit at 2 speed here. You're going to see me do the Inferno Dragon, stop the Dragon, Flying Machine in behind there. We're actually just going to pause that for a second. It kind of illustrates that if you want to, you can use the Goblin Barrel very effectively by dropping it in first, and then your tower or any other troops are going to shoot them instead of your Flying Machine or whatever defensive troops you have, or offensive troops coming in this case. So I just wanted to show that's what I was doing with the Wizard in that case. And as you're going to see, it then takes out the Wizard, and I do a little bit more damage as a result. Drop the Dark Goblin. That's another card that you can use very defensively or offensively as well. I mean, it's kind of great for having a nice push, counter push, because you can do a lot of damage to the tower if it locks on. And in this case, I just use the barbs to stop the Mega Knight. If it's just the Mega Knight alone, the barbs will work fine, and then you're going to get about a 2 elixir swing in that case. Otherwise, we also have the Mini P.E.K.K.A. that's going to be great to stop the Mega Knight as well. You're going to have some defenses that you can use to pull over, and then use, say, like the Musketeer to shoot from long range or something like that. So keep those all in mind when the the Mega Knight comes in. Again, going to drop the Mortar in here. The guards come with the P.E.K.K.A. or Mini P.E.K.K.A. Swing 1 elixir there. Unfortunately, I didn't get too much with the Mortar, but that's okay. Again, just keep trying to attack offensively. It's going to work out in this case. Here, wasted arrows on there. Going to drop the Mortar in. I wouldn't use the 3 Musketeers at all in this challenge. Not very good, especially at the 10 elixir cost. You're going to see me here. I'm going to be able to defend pretty easily. Swing the other way, and then I'm going to drop the Miner. I got a bit of a lock on with the Dark Goblin as well. You can use the Miner the same as the Goblin Barrel I mentioned earlier. Drop it in before your troops get there, and anything's going to lock on to them, and then at least you'll do a bit of damage. And then here, I just wanted to, I'm going to actually pause this for a sec, and we're going to drop down the speed on this. So, it's not very high, it's pretty low, the health of the tower right now, but if your cards, you're going to be able to cycle fairly quick, and if you can get your spells in fairly close proximity, you're going to almost be able to drop, I remember one game I dropped the Log, the Poison, the Goblin Barrel Miner, and the Earthquake all at once, and I think I got almost like 12 to 1,400 instant damage when I was nearly about to be defeated. So keep that in mind. When it comes late game like that, you're going to be able to do it. Just play a little defensively, because you don't want to do that too much, not get the damage, and now they're just going to come and counter push on that case. So here I'm playing a little defensively, trying not to go too hard, making sure that they don't get the instant win if I'm trying to counter with that Earthquake, because it's not going to take it out. So here you're going to see me drop the Earthquake, I'm going to drop the Goblin Barrel, you're going to see me drop the Log, and if that for some reason didn't work out, I still had the Poison banked to take it out. So I've used that move multiple times to win multiple games in the challenge, so keep that in mind. So now let's move on to the Royal Recruits one. That's going to be a pretty quick replay. Just going to show how to defend against them. It's going to be pretty basic anyways. And then we're going to go on to stopping the Mega Knight P.E.K.K.A. combo, because that is a very common deck type that I've been seeing that I've faced multiple times in the challenge. Alright, so we're going to just speed this up a little bit. Come on. Let's go. Yeah, don't be afraid to make the first move in this. Generally on the ladder, I'm more cautious, but with a deck like this, you really got a lot of cards that are very versatile. That when I made the deck, I tried to make them so they could be used in many different types, different ways, for different cards. So you always had a card that would kind of be able to stop whatever they drop in that case. Here I made a pretty good move, actually, with the Tornado, swinging all the cards together, especially with the Baby Dragon. So you're going to have to see me drop the Inferno Dragon, then drop the guards kind of in the back. That's going to defend actually pretty well, especially since the Witch locked onto the Inferno Dragon and isn't doing the splash damage to the guards. So here's where you're going to see the Royal Recruits get dropped. We're going to speed that up just a tad because they're very, very slow. Okay, so again with Royal Recruits, you have so many ranged troops. Take advantage of them. You can drop a cannon in the middle to kind of swing them to the middle. You've got the Princess, the Musketeer, the Dark Goblin. Use those all to your advantage, especially with Guard or the Graveyard as well. That's not too hard to stop since you do have a lot of kind of quick attacking cards that are kind of smaller. Kind of like the Rascal Girls as well. If you drop those, the Rascals, that'll be a good one. In this case, P.E.K.K.A.'s going to get both of the cards there, but you're going to see that I've got a bit of damage at least with the Miner. Like I said, don't be afraid to attack. Drop those Goblin Barrels. I still got a little bit of damage there, so you know what? I'm taking it. So we're going to speed through this one. Not too much different. I'll just go at 2 times the speed. I don't think my computer can handle 4. And drop the mortar there, trying to stop it. Nice thing with the mortar is if they get close at the mortar and you're able to maybe like defend a little bit, that mortar's going to lock onto that tower, assuming there's nothing in the back end, and you'll just keep doing damage even when they're trying to attack it. So works pretty well here. Able to drop and use the Barbarians pretty well. A lot of people haven't been bringing Fireball, so the Barbarians actually were really effective. In this case, the game's over at this point, especially with that tornado at the end. But good game, and let's move on to the last replay, so that I can at least show you kind of how to stop the P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A. is probably going to be one of the hardest things for this deck, mainly because I don't have kind of like smaller card, like a lot of cards, kind of like the guards. The guards are really kind of one of the exceptions I have. 2 stop them, so throughout a cycle, you're going to kind of have to get a little creative with your defenses and trying to shoot from long range. But again, it's still not too bad, especially if you have the Rascals in play, or even the Mini P.E.K.K.A. or the Lumberjack as well. So let's go from there. See the Dark Goblin. That way I can kind of do a counter push. You see me drop that Miner. I was trying to see if I could get the Dark Goblin to lock on. Fortunately, it didn't. That's what we have the Inferno Dragon for, to try and stop the P.E.K.K.A. It's not going to work too well here. We're actually going to see him use the Fireball there. Got the Dragon. Tried to drop the Rascals. Unfortunately, took a lot of damage with that. Still going to be able to stop the P.E.K.K.A. Dragon's going to get a decent amount of damage on the tower. Person gets a little cocky right off the beginning, but we'll finish him off later. So I tried the Goblin Barrel there, see what happens. Had the archers, that's alright. I'm going to be able to swing through pretty quickly before they can get the archers again, so I'll be able to test kind of what defense they'll be able to lay. So in this case, letting the Elixir stack up, letting them make the first move. Got the P.E.K.K.A. there, that's going to stop the Hog. Going to have the Musketeer in behind, that's going to take out a bit of the Flying Machine. And this is where I'm going to drop the Lumberjack. Again, play a little bit more offensively on this. You really can take advantage of it. Your elixir count with this deck is probably going to be lower than the majority of the people. I didn't really see anyone that could cycle much quicker than me, to my knowledge. Anyways, Wiz gets answered here. Now it's about 1,200 to 1,000 on the deck. You're going to see the Flying Machine come in. This is actually one of my, I think, my later games in the challenge. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the poison on here. Yeah, I might as well. I figured I had a decent amount of elixir, and I could at least get rid of the princess and apply some damage to that tower, especially since we only have about a minute left in the game. Starts to get important. And since I have the spells now and not later in the game, wanted to take advantage of that. So now you're going to see the Mega Knight go. Like I said, split the barbs. In this case, I decided to split the barbs 4 on the left side and 1 on the right. Just so I could stop at least the Mega Knight without having the splash damage kill them all. Plus, it's going to force him to then put troops on the other side to defend those 4 barbs. In this case, drop the Dark Goblin. Again, use a defense, use the long range distance. Those are going to work great against the P.E.K.K.A. and the Mega Knight. That's probably the best way you can do it. Unless they're solo, then you can just drop the Barbarians, and that works pretty well. In this case, again, drops the P.E.K.K.A. on the other side. I'm going to drop those Goblin Barrels over there, especially since that tower's locked on to that Rascals. Now you're going to see a lot of damage. This is going to bring it right within range of both the Earthquake and the Logs. So right now, my whole plan is just defend, keep that, protect against that counter push. The guy knows basically he's got to do something with the little amount left, but in this case, I really can defend well with these troops. I didn't need the Log. Just wanted to really make sure that I had that defense before I tried anything. And here you're going to see me drop the barbs just to be safe, stop anything else to protect. And now I'm going to drop the Earthquake, which you're going to see there, which will take out the whole thing. And that's the game. Hopefully this helped figure out a deck for the challenge. Rewards aren't the greatest, but if you're either adamant in completing it or you just want to look for something that might give you an advantage and this is going to be first shot, hopefully this helped. Thanks again everyone for watching. This is going to be Leonidas signing off, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.